Get your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape. Planet of the Apes, released in 1968 and is directed by Franklin J. Schaffner, who's also behind such films like The Stripper, The Warlord, Patton, and Lionheart. And this film is starring the ever so overly dramatic Charlton Heston, Roddy McDowall, Maurice Evans, Kim Hunter, James Whitmore, James Daly, and Linda Harrison. And the reason why we're talking about the original Planet of the Apes, which I really should have done a review of back when Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was coming out earlier this year, but this was a recommendation that I got later, so shame on me. Should have done it earlier, but I definitely appreciate doing it now because this was a recommendation and a PayPal donation from Jeremy Pape, who is a brand new subscriber on this channel, who I consider to be a dear friend now, and actually specifically, this is from Jeremy Pape's father. So thank you, Mr. Pape, for the recommendation for this Planet of the Apes, a classic from the 60s, and a film that got so many future movie makers into special effects and horror and prosthetic makeup, because this film is revolutionary when it comes to it. All of the ape makeup and the prosthetics look incredible still today. It's 2024. This film came out in 1968. This is still amazing. So if anyone else out there also wants to be like Jeremy Pape's father and help support me and contribute to this channel, you can select the QR code that's in the bottom left corner of the screen right now. Send over your donation of $5 or more with your movie recommendation, and if I have access to it, I will watch it, review it, and give you a little shout out just like what I did with Jeremy Pape here. Taylor is an astronaut that is part of a mission that takes them deep into space to find a livable planet and colonize it with the human race. Well, it's been a couple of thousand years into the future, and their ship has crash landed on this mysterious planet. And as the surviving astronauts find their way to water and to a food source, they are caught up in a raid of other humanoid characters who are being chased down by intelligent primates. And the film soon becomes a court case between the higher-ranking official apes and the scientific apes who are trying to prove and disprove the existence of intelligent humans on this planet. This is a very different take on the brand new Apes trilogy that we've recently gotten with Rise and Dawn and then War, and then most recently this year with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, where the apes that we are seeing in these films, they are still learning, they are still evolving, they are developing their speech patterns, and they are learning language and how to talk. Those would be considered like the prequels to this movie, to this version of Planet of the Apes. I would say from the time that Rise of the Planet of the Apes and this movie from 1968, between those happened, I would say it's definitely a couple thousand years. Because the apes in this movie are talking as if they're human beings. It is fluent, that's all they know how to talk. They aren't doing any ape sign language or anything like that. They're not hunched over and they're not still walking around like they're apes. They have fully evolved into walking around like humans, whereas humans did. Which for me, because I grew up with this new Apes trilogy, so going back to this older version, that style, that decision doesn't really appeal to me. But if I put my mindset back into someone going to the movies in 1968, I would have thought that this film is revolutionary, and I would have thought that this film is magnificent, and it would spark all of my sci-fi and creative juices in my mind. Because this has everything that you want in a sci-fi fantasy film, right? You're in space and you crash land on this distant planet thousands of light years away from Earth, and you're learning and you're discovering things, and you see that this society, yes, there are humanoid people that look like me, but there are also primates. Apes that have grown to talk and ride horses and build buildings and have agriculture. And then getting to the technical side of filmmaking, the prosthetic makeup on how the mouth and all the hair and how it's all blended in around the face, how that looks beautiful, and it still looks great today. You have to call out the special effects makeup artist for this film, John Chambers. This was all his baby, this was all his idea, this is what put him on the map, this is what made him famous, and what he did here is just revolutionary for the industry, for films, for makeup, for prosthetics, for special effects. He is one of the cornerstones when it comes to those aspects of the Hollywood scene. I just wish the performances, the characters within these ape prosthetics would have had more ape-like mannerisms and walk around like it. Yes, they hunched over sometimes, they had a little body language to it, but for the most time, they were just walking around as if they're just regular human beings. Which I guess that's kind of the point, what they were going with back then, but after seeing like I said, these new Ape films where we have all the performance captures and everything, and it just looks beautiful, and the CGI looks amazing. Just wish we would have had those mindsets back in 1968. And Charlton Heston, I mean, this is 1968, so he's a perfect choice to star in this sci-fi film and be a leading man, because you just see him on screen, and he just looks epic. The way he just puts his jaw forward, and just that underbite, and how it just... Look at that frickin' jaw, man. Come on. And his line delivery is so deliberate and passionate and epic in everything that he is saying. Get your dirty paws off me, you damn dirty ape. It's fantastic. But then also hearing him talk to his comrades who also survived too. That's something you probably don't remember from this movie, or if you go back to that awful Tim Burton version of this movie where it was just the lead guy. I think it was Mark Wahlberg in that film. And here, majority of his crew do survive. They just get captured, then they get their brain cut into, and then they're all dumbed down. But hearing this guy talk about the human race, you can definitely see why he wanted to join this mission. He just hates humans. He hates the Earth. He hates what they were doing to the planet. And again, this was 1968, so this was Cold War times, and probably the idea was that, well, we're going into a nuclear war, so what's going to be left of humanity? Which leads us to the end of this film, which I think is not a spoiler. This came out in 1968. A little mini spoiler alert, I guess, for those of you that have never even heard of the ending of this movie before. Charlton Heston's character finds out that, oh, this is actually Earth. They came back they went around the universe, then came all the way back to Earth and crash land back on Earth, because there's the Statue of Liberty. She's blown up. She's on the beach. Damn you! You blew it up! You ruined it! He sounds like me whenever I watch a Bob Ross painting and he gets to the end, he has this beautiful landscape that he's painted, and then all of a sudden he's like, now we're gonna just make one more happy tree, and he just draws this big black line in the middle of his painting. No, you're ruining it! That's Charlton Heston here when he looks at the Statue of Liberty. Oh, you ruined it, you bastards! It's a great little reveal in my opinion. So the aspects are great. I do like Charlton Heston's performance in here. The actors playing the apes, they're okay in my opinion. And the story, I'm not 100% behind. This is why I like this newer version. I've said it multiple times already, but this is why I like the newer version of the Apes films more, because this is really just about survival in those films, and it's about relationships and connection. In this film, once they find out that Taylor can talk, it becomes a court case to where they're trying to prove that this person is just dumb. He's a mutant, he's an anomaly, and humans are not inherently smart. And I like courtroom dramas, I absolutely do. I just wasn't expecting that while watching this sci-fi picture of this space adventure and this planet that is being run by apes. It became a court case, which... I don't know, was a little disappointing for me. Planet of the Apes is definitely a film, if you're getting into film culture and you want to know, like, cornerstones of the industry, especially when you get into the sci-fi genre, you have to watch this film. This is recommended viewing, necessary viewing, for anyone who wants to get into sci-fi and get into filmmaking in general. Is it the best sci-fi picture that has ever been created? Oh god, no, definitely not in my opinion. But it does lay the foundation that would inspire many other movie makers that grew up watching this film and have come out in the 80s and in the 90s creating their sci-fi films and their best picture film. It's one hell of an important movie, I'll give it that. I'm gonna give Planet of the Apes 4 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I like it a lot.
So guys, if you've seen The Planet of the Apes, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below and let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell so you'll the next time I'm releasing my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.